Good evening, and welcome to another episode of the Big Freaking Friday Show. I had to remember the name of the show. On the College Football Mafia Network, I am joined tonight by the one, the only, the wildest Ute around, Wild Ute. How you?
Happy Friday. Big game night here. ASU Utah's coming on in a few hours.
There you go. Daniel Gygax, you're also a West Coast fan. Are you looking forward to watching that game?
Of course.
All right. Just so you guys know, Nate could not be here tonight. He had an issue with his tongue. He did something to it. He doesn't know what, but he is on rest until Monday when he goes back to work. So he will not be here tonight, but that's okay. We've got Daniel Gygax. We've got the Wild Ute. We've got the one and only Moen. We got some super chats.
Whoop, whoop.
I got a hat on, a very particular hat on. I got some of this stuff. Let's have some fun and talk some college football, guys. Let's jump right into it and say hi to some people here. First off, Mark Bowman says a great $20 super chat. Let's give him a sounder real quick. The OOO.
We'll get that OO soon. There we go. Very nice.
Greg was on delay there. He was being tantric with that OOO. A great article by Mike Heelis in the 10-8 Cedar Rapids Gazette of how two All-American football players, University of Washington's Frank Waskowitz and Iowa's Niall Kinnick, played against each other in a 1937 football game. And then he follows it up with another super chat for $20. Thank you so much, Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
Both men went on to become combat pilots in World War II, with each making the ultimate sacrifice for their country. Iowa would go on to name their stadium after Kinnick. The state of Washington would name a state park for Waskowitz. If you guys look in the chat right below that, I posted a bit.ly link that will take you right to the article. You can read it all. We read a little bit of it between myself, Pickles, and Becky in our Big Ten Mafia group chat. Very interesting article. I do say it's highly suggested reading. Two legends in college football who gave the ultimate sacrifice for their country, and we should all salute them for that. And looking forward to that game tomorrow, big noon kickoff, Washington at Iowa.
So both of them were named stadium, right? Talking about stadium naming rights.
Yeah, no, Kinnick was named it's Kinnick Field. It's Kinnick at Iowa. Waskowitz had a state park named for him.
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty remarkable stuff. It give me a little chills right there just reading those super chats. It's amazing.
Yeah. No, it's a great article. If like I said, follow the bit.ly link. Definitely check it out if you're interested in college football history or just history in general. It's pretty interesting. Thank you so much again, Mark, for those super chats. You need some milk.
He needs some milk. He needs some milk.
See, Conundrum's first in chat. Sankey and Petiti buried Rudy alive in an unmarked Memphis grave yesterday. Yeah, we'll talk about that. Nathan Campbell says, hi, guys. Good to see you, Nathan.
What's up, Nathan?
Bob Swanger's in the house. Good to see you, Bob.
Bob?
Mosito X is here. That Wisconsin-Rutgers game. That's going to be a tough one to pick, I think.
Hola.
Illini Ted says, time to win back the cannon. Okay. Antoine Codes, obviously here to bait you, says ASU, 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 ASU.
ASU.
Caleb Ramirez is good. Good to see you, Caleb. Hope your grandfather's doing well, sir. Andrew Eagle, looking good, Gygax.
He's a friend of mine from there in West Virginia. I play golf with him.
Wait, you live in California. He lives in West Virginia.
I fly back to West Virginia.
I was going to say, you have a hell of a drive. Actually, you found one of my golf balls in Utah this week. So
I'll see if I can pull that up, actually. No, keep going. I'll pull it up. Show you.
Daniel Gygax says drink. There we go. Somebody has to mention it first. Hello, gentlemen. Go Big Red. There you go, Scavin. You were right. Daniel Gygax, you get to say this one.
Oh, no. Go Blue.
All right. Mr. Ed Wainer says, hello, everyone. Is there anything y'all can't do by yourselves on the show? Petiti, we don't need no one reference. Lina Ted says, big game, Northwestern at Maryland. Oh, never mind. I can't even post it as serious, but there is a game tonight involving the two. Yeah. I said this is the least anticipated game in the Big Ten this season, I think.
They put it on FS1. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, because of the baseball game.
Yeah. I have no desire to watch that game. David Hopkins says, hello, everyone. Good to see you, David. Conundrum says, where's Becky Go Huskies? We painted the locker room pink for her. If you win, you got to come on the Big Ten Mafia show and give them crap on Monday with Conundrum. Although, I can't lie. I think I picked Washington. And then Nathan Campbell says something that we're not going to repeat. Oh, wait.
Ooh, yeah, I'll say it. Go Big
that's
Blue.
Big Blue.
Go Big Blue.
That's Kentucky. I'll allow it, Nathan. All right, so let's jump right into it, and we'll get to our picks for the week before we get into the deep dirt here on the Big Freaking Friday show.
Hey, wait, before we get into that, Moan, I got to show everybody this thing. Okay, check it out. Check it out, everybody. So was golfing a couple days ago on the golf course. Randomly found a golf ball. Started playing really good with it. Turned the golf ball around. So it's just on the course. And you have to see what this golf ball had the name Moan on it.
There you go.
Hey.
I'm serious about that. Yeah, I found that ball. I started playing great with it too. So there you go, Moan.
I have a hell of a drive. I hit that all the way from Nelsonville, Ohio to Utah. Fantastic.
If I had that golf ball, I would end up sinking it into the lake. But I do that with all golf balls.
Plenty of that.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So for our picks, let's see. Obviously, Bomber couldn't be here tonight. Daniel, I don't put your picks on here, unfortunately.
That's fine.
But let's take a look at the Oregon-Ohio State game, the top game of the weekend, top 5 matchup. The undefeated Buckeyes travel to Eugene, Oregon, and Autzen Stadium to take on the undefeated Oregon Ducks. Ohio State is favored by 3.5 points. Bomber took Oregon. You took Oregon as well. Explain yourself.
Wait, hold on a second. Oregon's favored in this game, right?
No.
3.5?
No.
Ohio State's favored.
How is Ohio State favored? I'm shocked, actually, that Ohio State's favored in this game.
Because they're good.
Yeah, they're good, but I mean, we're talking to going cross country, multiple time zones in a stadium you've probably never played in before. Like maybe this first time Ohio State's ever played there. Certainly no players, coaches, outside of Chip Kelly back in the day. It's going to be an environment that's going to be out of this world. This is supposed to be the biggest crowd in Oregon, the state of Oregon history for any type of crowd ever assembled. There was like some formula race or some car race back in the 60s. This game is supposed to exceed that in attendance. It's going to be absolutely off the rocker. It's going to be nuts out there. I think Gabriel gets it going. I see Oregon rolling in this game. I don't see the game necessarily getting away from the Buckeyes, but I see Oregon winning by a touchdown.
And to answer your question, the last time that the Buckeyes went to Eugene, Oregon was 1967. I'm looking at Wikipedia on that.
By the way, Oregon has 1 win over Ohio State, and I believe Ohio State has 9 wins over Oregon, including a win for the 2014 National Championship, but I'm not keeping score here. I, of course, picked Ohio State because I think Ohio State is a better team. I think the running attack is going to slow Oregon down. They can't score if you keep them off the field. You pound them with Travion Henderson and Crenshaw Judkins. Jeremiah Smith is a freshman, but he might be the best receiver in the country right now. Emeka Egbuka, top 10 pick in the wide receiver. I think the defense is really – they showed up against Iowa. I know people are going to laugh and go Iowa, but they held Caleb Johnson, a guy who was making, I think, an average of 150 yards a game. And they slowed him down to like 57 yards. So they're going to be ready for the run. I think they're going to be ready for Dylan Gabriel. Dylan Gabriel will throw a pick in a very bad time in the game, and I think Ohio State will win, and I think they will cover.
Ohio State went off. They had a bye week, right?
No, they played Iowa, but
Iowa. Yeah, that's right. They did
some
play
people
Iowa.
consider that a bye week.
That's definitely not a bye week when you're playing the Hawkeyes.
I also have Ohio State on that. I'll be honest with you, if I've only seen one Oregon game, that was against Oregon State. I've seen a couple of Ohio State games. I just think that they're absolutely, if not the number one team in the nation, good chance to say yes. Good argument that they are.
All right.
Oregon needs this game. You're at home. You've got all the juice behind you, the electricity. And it's super hard to win in Autzen. Look, I know the Big Ten has massive stadiums, and you've got Penn State there, Ohio State, Michigan, with just 100,000 plus. But that stadium at Autzen is so loud. It's one of the loudest in the world. It's going to go raucous, and it's going to be a crazy environment. It's going to be hard for the Bucks to win that. You better get up early if you're going to win that game.
All you got to do is score a couple points, keep running the ball, leave Oregon's offense off the field. That crowd will go quiet. I would not put that. Listen, Ohio State has won at Penn State in a whiteout. I think the whiteout environment is probably the toughest environment in college football. If you can win in a whiteout, I think you can win at Autzen.
We will see. This was like one of the highlighted games before the season. This is one of the premier matchups all season long. This is the big one, right? Maybe the biggest game of the year, right? At the end of the day.
Yeah, definitely. This is top 5 matchup, prime time. I'm interested to see what kind of numbers this does compared to Georgia, Alabama. I think Georgia, Alabama at their peak had 21 million. Be interesting to see what this game does. Then we have the Red River Shootout. Texas, technically at Oklahoma. It's in the Cotton Bowl. Oklahoma is the home team for this game. 14.5 scares me. I think Texas wins this, but 14.5 scares me. Yeah.
This one's really
Oklahoma.
hard to predict, right?
Yeah.
Like this one's really hard to predict. This game is so up and down. You just really never know the way it's going to go because it's the rivalry game. I hate for Oklahoma that Texas coming off a bye. I hate that. And it's just going to be really hard to get this game. No one's giving them a shot, though. In rivalry games to get weird, especially when you're big underdogs. Texas probably should win this game by 21 plus, but because I think it's going to get a little wonky, weird, I think that OU keeps it close and Texas wins close.
Yeah. Quinn Ewers has got to shake off some rust, too. This is his first game back. What do you think, Daniel?
Too many points. I've seen too many weird things happen during the state fair for that to be a 14.5 point game. I think Oklahoma can keep it close. Can they win? Probably, maybe, but 14.5 points is just way too many points.
Yeah, it's a lot.
All right. Then we got
old Nathan Campbell throwing out a prediction. Texas by 21.
Put some
Covering that
money
sucker.
Put some money on that, Nathan. I'd take an alternate spread and put some money on it. In the next conference, we thought this was going to be a top 10 matchup at the beginning of the season. The Trojans have fallen off a little bit here. Penn State travels across the country to play in the Coliseum against the mighty USC Trojans. I like Penn State. I think USC clearly has some flaws, especially with their offensive and defensive lines, especially in the middle. I think they're very soft in the middle. I like Penn State. I like Drew Aller. I like the running game from Penn State.
100% agree with you and everything. I mean, Penn State's going to pound the rock, pound it. I can't believe that USC's actually got a win or two this year. Like that LSU win still is shocking that they even won that game. They've historically been a team that's very soft in the trenches. And you're seeing some of that come to fruition over the last couple of weeks. Penn State is known for that. This is a really good matchup, like just lineup-wise, roster-wise for Penn State, because you just pound it. You pound it. I don't care where you play out. If you've got good defense and you can pound the rock, you can win anywhere. That travel is going to be a factor, but Penn State's going to overcome it and win by more than one possession this football game.
seeing what Penn State did to West Virginia, when is that Ohio State Penn State game? I'm trying to remember.
It's gonna come up soon.
It's coming up soon. I think it's
Yeah.
in November.
That will not shock me that that's the game that will decide who's going to go to the Big Ten championship.
Well, they both might. Yeah, that might
Yeah.
be. You might end up with a rematch.
Yes, because Penn State's that good.
Yeah, they are good. They're really good.
I
And
will
they just
say,
don't play. They don't mess around. They're not flashy or anything. They just are physical, big and physical, and that's exactly what beats USC. They're basically beat to be like a USC team. Just pound them. They're going to beat them up.
here's my fear: James Franklin has brain farts. I'm hoping he reserves that brain fart. He squeezes and holds that brain fart in for the Ohio State game. But I will say in the Trojans' defense, they were one missed tackle from beating Michigan. And they were one replay review from going into overtime against Minnesota. So this could very easily be an undefeated team.
Mm-hmm.
If not for a few, you got to make that tackle.
We get some comments here on that game real quick before we move on. So, Andrew, Penn State will take care of business. Yeah, there's a lot of agreements here in the panel, too. And then, Moan, check this one out. Conundrum. What is this? What is this? James Franklin is Lucifer.
Yeah.
What?
I don't think Iowa people like Penn State people. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that's about. Ole Miss LSU, outside of Rock, who is leading, by the way, he is leading the Pigs. He's the sole person to take LSU. Everybody else liked Ole Miss, who is favored by 3.5. And I like Ole Miss. They bounced back against South Carolina. I think that Kentucky game maybe was a good thing to have early in the season. Looks like Lane Kiffin lit a fire under their ass. Defensively and offensively, they looked spectacular last week. So I like Ole Miss.
Don't trust LSU a bit. Don't trust that team. Trust Ole Miss a lot more. They're so explosive that this game could get ugly.
Night game at Baton Rouge.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm going to say. That's why I picked LSU.
Okay.
Yeah. It's going to be wild off the hook out there.
Death Valley.
That's supposed to be the toughest
place
environment
to
to
play.
win in, actually, in college football. A night game in Baton Rouge is supposed to be the hardest environment to win in.
But, here's a comment from Andrew Mueller, and he's absolutely right. LSU defense is trash.
Yeah.
Jackson Dart's going to go in there and pick them apart. So their offense is actually semi-decent. Their offense is going to need to go in there and match them. I just don't know their offense can. But, yeah, a night game in Death Valley, that's their biggest thing going for them. Here's a hotly contested one. Iowa State at West Virginia. I like West Virginia at home. I think they showed me something last week at Oklahoma State. I think they realize they're still in it. They're wearing the Coal Rush uniforms. I like West Virginia.
And
like
they
West
are
Virginia.
retiring Rocco Beck's dad's number
That's right.
and putting him in to the WVU Hall of Fame tomorrow.
Danny,
So
why don't you
that's
give us a
gonna be
little preview of this game, if you wouldn't mind? Just give a little preview on both sides, and then what you think.
For me, it all depends on if West Virginia's defense, that the front six is really good. The secondary's got a lot of questions. If that front six can get to Becht, I think that they've got quite a bit covered on that. West Virginia's just got to run the ball, run it again, run the ball again. Because whenever they run the ball, they win. Just run it.
I think this game is the classic Big 12 unpredictable game. Iowa State, undefeated, coming in with the highest ranking in the Big 12. I think we're going to see this all season long with the highest ranked Big 12 team coming to an opposing stadium and taking a loss. I just think that's the nature of this conference this year. West Virginia is much better than their record says. They're extremely dangerous. Garrett Green's kind of got it going on here too. The defense is looking a lot better. Iowa State's a solid football team. It's going to be a close game. Iowa State won't let this get away from them. But I do see West Virginia through Garrett Green on the ground getting some scores here to pull away in the fourth quarter. And West Virginia's going to win this one and put Iowa State with their first loss of the season. And then the last remaining Big 12 team could be BYU. Seriously, yeah. We're about to get to that one.
We're about to get to that one. Speaking of Big 12 games, we've got Kansas State against Colorado. They're at Boulder. Colorado is a 6-point underdog to the Kansas State Wildcats. I like the Wildcats. I like Avery Johnson. This was tough, though. I think Kansas State wins by just a touchdown. I don't think this is a blowout. I think Colorado holds tough. Hunter late maybe gets a couple touchdown grabs. They've got to get after the quarterback. Kansas State has to get after the quarterback. If you can get in there and get some pressure on Shadur, he throws picks. He gets frustrated. That's the blueprint to beating this Colorado team.
Tough game to predict. Like you mentioned, Moan. K-State just seems to have a lot more depth, a lot better, I think, better fundamental coaching too. Look, I love Coach Brian brings eyeballs and stuff's great for the Big 12, but like Kleiman really and his staff are just solid, fundamentally sound, solid. I think that's going to win the game here. Colorado, they're up and down, unpredictable. They beat Baylor on a Hail Mary. Like seriously, like it's just some crazy stuff's happening over in the CU land. It's going to be juiced. It's a night game in Boulder. K-State's a better football team though, all around better football team from top to bottom. The best players on the team, though, the two best players in this whole thing are Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter, with Avery Johnson behind that. So, they've got the top-end players and stuff, but I think it's going to be a battle. I can see CU turning the ball over and costing it the game. So, I'm thinking 7 to 10 point win for the Cats. K-State in this one.
I have K-State in this one, too. It's shut down Shedeur, shut down Travis Hunter. Really, they've only got two players on that team. And K-State's got some depth. You could shut those two down. It is going to be a long night in Boulder for the Buffaloes.
Colorado reminds a lot of Arizona, the Arizona Wildcats, and how they play. And just watching what K-State did to Arizona 3 or 4 weeks ago, it's going to be a similar blueprint when you play Colorado. So we'll see how that goes. I think that they'll fare pretty well, though. Again, I think Colorado turns it over.
Devil Frog says, I love the fact that Kansas State and Colorado are playing as conference opponents again. Yeah.
Thank goodness, right? These are old rivals, right, of the Big 12.
Big 8.
Yep.
Big 8.
Then we've got Utah at Arizona State. That game will be played tonight. What time's kickoff for that,
Yeah, that's going to be 10:30 Eastern, 8:30 Mountain. Why so late? There's not even another big game on in that spot.
You're at
Arizona. TV window.
Well, it's also because you're at Arizona State temperatures.
Yeah, that's a good point, Mon.
Yeah, so most of these night games, most of the time you're going to see night games played in Arizona schools. I like Utah here. Cam Rising's coming back. I think he's got enough in him to win by a touchdown. I also have ulterior reasons. I'm rooting for Utah the rest of the season. Utah, man.
All right. What do you think, Daniel?
I have Utah in this. Let's see what Rising can do. But I think a lot of that Utah defense is pretty good. And the couple of times I've seen Arizona State, they'll look good for a little bit and then they'll look awful. So Utah's just a better team.
Before the announcement yesterday that Cam Rising is going to play in this game, we will see if he actually plays. We've heard that before. We'll see if he actually plays. I just don't know for sure. I'm 95% sure, but it's not 100%. if Rising plays, the Utes should win this game. There's a lot of momentum right now, which is crazy because over the past few weeks, it's been pretty painful out in Ute land and stuff. It's been kind of dead, flat, and everything as far as like the fan base and everything. A lot of grumbling, griping, and just not any like momentum, like felt momentum, energy. But the moment that Rising announcement came out yesterday brought juice. Like it's just crazy, kind of the energy that flows through the fan base. And I think the team too. So this U team, if Rising indeed plays, is going to look like a completely different animal than they have been. Arizona State's a good football team. They're physical. They run the football really well. It's going to be a pounded out game. If Rising plays, though, Utes are going to win big. It's not going to be a close game. If Rising plays in this game, I just don't see it being close. I think that the Utes actually show what their potential is for the season. If he plays, and I can see Utah win by 17 plus.
17.
Right.
Wait. Whoa.
17 points or more. The Utah win. Tonight, if Cam Rising plays, hey, if Isaac Wilson plays, it is a complete push. I have no idea who's going to win this game. If Isaac Wilson comes in, serious guys, like it is that big a difference for this team and momentum and everything else. It's a huge difference. You wouldn't believe how big it is. It's like having a Superman cape on. 17-point win, or I don't know who wins if Wilson plays. It's going to be it's a complete pick 'em.
That's
Does a player can a player ever warrant 17 points? That's the question, right? Like, can they? We'll find out.
Well, we'll find out.
Antoine Codes has his message here. He says the Arizona State has a better run defense.
They do. Arizona State's a very good football team. They're 4-1. They're nasty on the run defense that can run the football. Scadaboo, Cam Scadaboo, you're going to hear that name a lot tonight. He is an absolute mammoth, like a Peyton Hillis type player. Love him. Absolutely love the guy. But really, at the end of the day, the momentum that if Rising plays, they're going to explode. There's going to be a game where the Utes just explode. I think it's going to be this one. It's not going to be his knee exploding, Moan. It's going to be the play on the field.
Listen, I am hoping and praying that Cam Rising stays healthy the rest of the season. Rob Ellen says, let's go Moan's Buckeyes. Yeah, the interesting thing about that Oregon-Ohio State game is there's probably two of the top three most hated teams in the college football playing against each other. So everybody's rooting against the one they hate the least. Or rooting for the one they hate the least. Sergeant Pickle says, membership restored. Dogs win big in Iowa.
Whoop, whoop.
Do
Purple
the
dogs,
win.
baby.
We'll see. We'll see. I never sleep on Iowa. I like Washington in that game, but I'm not going to sleep on Iowa. If you can't contain Caleb Johnson, it's going to be a long day for Washington. Long day. Let's move on to the last game. Everybody pick BYU.
Pick BYU. This one's going to be a little spicy, I think, though, guys. Look, BYU had 2 weeks to prepare for this game. They should have a very sound defensive strategy versus Fafita, T-Mac, and the Arizona offense. Arizona cannot eat another conference loss, or they're basically eliminated. But really, this seems like just that wonky Big 12 game that might be like sweating bullets over. I've got BYU beating spread still, but it's going to be close. And I think BYU ends up pulling it out, 6 points, but really like maybe having to come back at the end. Too close for comfort for Cougar fans, this one. And the reason that I'm picking BYU is because of the bye week too. If they weren't coming off a bye, we could have Arizona in this football game.
I have BYU. I think Retzloff he's looked a lot better. He's plays a very consistent, good game. And I think that that's going to win against Arizona.
I have 2 words. Mormon vampires. This game is at night.
No, it's not. It's in the afternoon.
No.
It's in the afternoon?
It's at 2:00 Mountain Time.
Yeah.
There's no Mormon vampire in this game.
All right.
It's just
Mormon daywalkers. Mormon daywalkers.
Awesome.
I'm picking the Mormons. I'm picking BYU. I think they win. They cover. I think Arizona is not. I think they're so. That game against Texas Tech last weekend was about the most painful experience I've had. People talk about how bad Big Ten football is. That was a terrible game.
Oh, it was hard to watch for sure.
Mark Bowman brings in with a super chat. I do not think so, Pickles.
Ooh.
That was legitness. Yeah, it was. Huh?
Yeah, don't sleep on Iowa. If Caleb Johnson gets moving on you, you're going to have a hard time stopping that kid. He is a very good running back. Conundrum says Arizona Wildcats have experience traveling to Utah and beating teams. That's a shot at you.
No doubt about it. I mean, Arizona kicked the Utah Ute spot 100%. Like, and it sucks. I wish it didn't happen and stuff. Like, we had plenty of incentive to beat them. We just got beat. BYU's had 2 weeks, though, guys. Like, Arizona came off a bye week into that game versus Utah. And I think what we're seeing is a trend in the Big 12. Teams coming off a bye week is a huge deal. And I think that in BYU's favor, having 2 weeks to game plan versus Arizona's offense is going to be really effective.
Thank you for the super chat again, Mark Bowman. Much appreciated, sir. Nathan Campbell says, Moen, can the three y'all give me an upset this weekend? West Virginia over Iowa State.
We're all three on that one.
Yeah, that's only 3 points. That's not that big of an upset.
Still an upset. I would have to look at my FanDuel app to see what would be a really strong upset. Oklahoma at 14.5.
Man, yeah, that would be a massive upset.
It's a rivalry game. I'll put it this way. It's a rivalry game. And for some reason, the last 10 years or so, Oklahoma has dominated that rivalry, even when Texas is a better team. So put Oklahoma on the money line if you want to make some money. And see what, just put $10 on it on the money line. I'm sure you'll probably get a $30 to $40 payout on that. Don't go nuts on it or anything, Nathan, but there you go. You want a good money line payout, I would take Oklahoma over Texas.
I'll tell you what's not going to be an upset, Alabama and South Carolina. Alabama is absolutely going to beat the living soul out of South Carolina. I promise you.
Yeah, after South Carolina did so well on the game against Kentucky, it shocks me how badly they performed.
Okay, if you want an upset, I'm thinking Cal beats Pitt.
Okay.
Pittsburgh's number 22 in the nation. They're undefeated. Cal came off that horrendous loss last week to Miami. That's a good football team, though. I still like Cal. I think Cal beats Pitt. Ends their undefeated season.
I'm looking at the line for that.
I'm
3.5 points is the Pittsburgh's favorite. That's not that many points. I thought it would be more. I think a lot did it.
Antoine Codes is throwing it out here. Here's his upset: ASU over Utah. And Utah's coming off a bye. Look at that. There we go.
I might also add put Northwestern, take the points on Northwestern Maryland. I don't know that Maryland's going to score as many as people think they're going to score, but we'll see. You know, don't take gambling advice from me. I'm not very good at gambling.
Don't take it from Greg either.
Yeah, don't take it from. Thank you, Greg. I thanked him. I had a phone call from him the other day. I said, thank you for picking Ohio State. Much appreciated, Greg.
Here's interesting. Vandy is a 12.5-point dog to Kentucky. Vandy with the biggest win that they ever had in program history, 12.5-point dog in Lexington, Kentucky.
I'm not surprised. I'm not at all. I mean, it's so hard to be like ready the next week after a win like that. They were probably partying for 2 or 3 days. Definitely most students were.
Yeah.
Like, and it's so hard in college football with these like 18 to 26-year-olds nowadays to get ready, you know, for the next week when there's so much action. You just had such a big emotional win. In the NFL, they probably get it together, keep that close, but I can see Vandy get housed, actually, at Kentucky.
From Antoine Code, Utah should be undefeated. Arizona is trash. Utah should have never lost to them. Too many wasted red zone trips.
For shame, Antoine. Yes, I agree in every way. We got our butts kicked. It is what it is. Now it's time to play Arizona State.
Kentucky's coming off that Ole Miss win too. So,
But they had a bye last week, right?
yes,
Yeah, I
yes,
think they had
yes,
a bye
yes,
week
yes,
last week.
yes. I had to double check on the date. Yes.
Harry Austin, our favorite Buffaloes fan, says, "Let's go Buffaloes." We'll see.
Tell you what, the best thing for the here for like the for future media rights to get the Big 12 more money, the best thing the Big 12 could ever do is have Colorado win games. If you look at the TV ratings, Colorado's getting 3 times the rating as the second best Big 12 school. The more they win, and if they get ranked, man, there's going to be some massive eyeballs in their games, which is great for the conference. So look, I love K-State. I think K-State's going to win. I'm rooting for K-State. But if Colorado wins, it's a win-win because it just gives exposure for the conference, big time spots. They still have Utah coming up and some other huge matchups. So there you go, guys.
Conundrum says, take Stanford over Notre Dame. I think it's 21.5 points, isn't it?
22.
22 points. So, yeah. I guess. I mean, I don't know enough about Stanford this year. I think they're 1-4, aren't they? They're not very good.
Hold on.
22.5 points? Could that
Yes.
be for Stanford?
Yeah, and the game's in Palo Alto.
Yeah. Sergeant Pickle says, pro tip, always bet against your team straight up. If they win, you don't care. And if you lose, you have beer money. I care. I care.
too.
Implant code says, yeah,
Stanford's 2-3.
2-3. I hate Notre Dame, but I don't want to lose any more money on them.
Their only 2 wins were Stanford's wins were to Cal Poly and Syracuse.
They beat Syracuse, so Syracuse is a good team.
Yeah.
Maybe on the money line. Yeah, maybe take that on the money line, guys. That's probably got pretty good odds on the money line. What are the odds on the money line?
Hold on, let me pull that back
It's
up
going to be
again.
ridiculous. Man, that is it. Money line. I don't know if you want to take the money line on that game. Oof. I don't trust Stanford.
Oh wow, 1,200.
1,200 is the money line, so that's $10 would win you $120 on the money line.
I mean, that's pretty dang good.
Good payout. Rob Ellen says Alabama trying to recruit new more students. The application fee is waived through tonight. My daughter just applied since it was free. #trader.
No way.
My daughter is doing the same thing because it's got a free app.
So you got your kids are applying to go to Alabama? Like
No.
Tide?
Yes.
Wow. Well,
Well, I just have to say this. I don't have any kids that I know of, but if any of them came to me and said, I'm going to the University of Michigan, I love my kids, but, you know, there's some things that are just unforgivable.
you're a
Conundrum
bad
says,
man, Moan.
Conundrum says it's in South Bend, actually.
Hold on.
Daniel.
Let me double check. Correct. It is South Bend. Yes.
Okay. That didn't stop NIU just because it's in South Bend. Yeah, Conundrum says big cash from the money line if you want to go after that. Ute is 10:30 Mountain. Would it be 8:30 Central? That is correct. Or no?
So
No,
that'd be a
no.
little flipped around. So it'd be like 8:30 Mountains, 9:30 Central, and 10:30 Eastern.
Yeah, you're an hour
And then-
behind on Mountain.
Yeah, and 7:30 Pacific.
Yep.
Sergeant Pickle says, fun fact, I got accepted to LSU on a mechanical engineering scholarship, but chose the Marines. I think I made the right decision.
A few of the proud, baby.
There you go.
Mhm.
I'm sure you would have got equally as drunk at both of them, so don't worry about it, Pickles. Years ago, I told my kids they could go to any school but A&M. Yeah, there's just some things you don't do. if, Chris Spielman tells a story that Bo Schembechler came and visited him and he told his dad, yeah, I really like that Bo Schembechler guy. I think I'm going to Michigan. And his dad told him, says, if you do, you're not coming back in this house. He says, you're going down the road to Columbus to play. So
That's the way it should be right there.
that's the way it is.
Make good life choices.
All right, let's get that off there. Let's go ahead and talk about the Yalta conference between Tony Petiti and Greg Sankey. I'm going to pull it up here. Screen. From Nashville, Tennessee. I'm sure Alabama loves Nashville, Tennessee. Following an unprecedented meeting between the SEC and Big Ten on Thursday, the commissioners of both conferences addressed multiple weighty issues facing college athletics and strongly pushed back on recent pitches from private equity groups to help offset increased expenses that will result from the NCAA's expected House settlement. It was an important united front for two of the most powerful people in college sports, as any drastic changes that would include private equity are unlikely to garner national support without the backing of the SEC and Big Ten. I have yet to see a single thing in any plan that I've learned details about that contains things that we couldn't do ourselves and our A4 colleagues as well, Big Ten Commissioner Tony Petiti said. At the end of the day, there's a strong commitment that you have the ability to do all of this ourselves. Paraphrasing, the notion that college football is broken, what we do is broken, is just not right. In February, the SEC and Big Ten announced the formation of a joint advisory group, and this one-day meeting at the Grand Hyatt was a continuation of that, albeit with legal counsel present to make sure both conferences weren't crossing any lines that could be construed as collusion.
Sure.
Our legal counsel is very skilled, Daniel. At this point, defining the boundaries of what we can talk about and what we cannot talk about, said SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey. With SEC now at 16 teams and the Big Ten at 18 following expansion, they are now the largest, wealthiest conferences in the country, and Sankey and Petiti have the bulk of control over the future format of the college football playoff in 2026 and beyond. Yet, even with the optics of Thursday's meeting and the written guarantee of separation in both power and wealth in the newest CFB contract, Sankey said the perception that the SEC and Big Ten are pulling away from everyone else in college athletics with this partnership is inaccurate.
Sorry.
He said he realized there was plenty of commentary about the two of us meeting, but reiterated that both leagues accept the responsibility of leadership. We talk regularly with our other two colleagues in the autonomy group, he said, referencing Big 12 Commissioner Yormark and Jim Phillips. Do we bring everybody together? It was hard enough to schedule two conferences of athletic directors. I can't imagine trying to schedule four. It was a scheduling issue, guys.
Sure.
We'll share from this with our colleagues. This is the start of a conversation for us. I don't think the perception is consistent with our conversation today, where we recognize we're part of a bigger ecosystem, but we're also interested in what we might be able to achieve together. With all 34 athletic directors from the supersized conferences gathered in a meeting room, the conversation focused largely on the looming House settlement, which recently received preliminary approval. But there was also interest from both leagues in finding a way to schedule more football games against each other. Is there a way for us to be intentional about our scheduling, said Sankey, who was in Ann Arbor last month to see Texas at Michigan. Just an incredible experience. And you stayed on the sideline prior to kickoff thinking, what if we can do this more with our non-conference games? We respect where we have in-state rivalries that take place in non-conference scheduling, but we had a real general conversation about the what-ifs in football and basketball. Petiti said part of the discussion about those games being scheduled organically on campus through athletic directors having conversations. The question is there a structure where the two league offices work together to create more of those matchups? Petiti said, we had a pretty big discussion about the path to play each other more, see if you can figure out how you can actually do it. Decide what games you want, how many, but that's a broad discussion. Sankey said some athletic directors in the room pointed out some games being played this year were scheduled a decade ago, almost a point of encouragement to say, let's not wait that long. Leaders in both leagues also discussed the pending roster limits and future of NCAA governance, with Sankey saying it has to change. At a recent Division I Council meeting, Sankey said he told the room the Division I Council doesn't work, given what's changing around us. The board of directors at Division I level has to change, and it has to change rapidly, Sankey said. I shared that perspective, but I don't think we're alone. I don't think it's just two conferences that share that. Sankey and Petiti agreed they both want to see the 12-team CFP field unfold before they make any determinations about what could change when the next contract begins in 2026. This just has to go incredibly well, Sankey said. This has to be a successful launch. This isn't the time to talk about governance in 26 or the format in 26, but the immediate implementation in front of us. Oklahoma Athletic Director Joe Castelloni said the meetings were productive with considerable time focused on the implementation of the House settlement. It was an opportunity to learn from each other and have important conversations, Castelloni said. It was great to get in a room and compare notes with other athletic directors who face common challenges. So, what do you guys make of that? As outsiders, what do you make of that?
Okay, the first one, I can understand not letting private equity in for any type of anything dealing with college athletics, especially whenever it comes down to public institutions. You're going to look at what is collateral, what isn't collateral, what can they put up, because these private equity companies, they're going to want something out of it.
Yeah, 100%. I just love the narrative here too. Like, hey, like we accept responsibility. We trust. And this is exactly what that's saying. Hey, trust me, bro. Trust me, bro. Yeah, let's trust me, bro. Let's do our secret handshake, our P2 handshake here. Just trust me, bro. I'm actually going to hand you a note when we're doing our trust me, bro, and stuff that says, let's leave everybody else behind and form a P2 Super League and screw everybody else because they're even talking back to us. This is the biggest bull crap I've ever seen in my life. Oh, we can't invite other conferences and stuff because it's so hard to organize these things. Oh, my gosh. Yeah. We plucked USC. We stabbed the Pac-12 in the back, but it is really hard to organize something. Don't give me this crap. This is absolutely like a joke, man. Like, seriously, don't slap people in the face like that, disrespect people, think that we're buffoons or anything here. Seriously, this is the formation of what's going to be a pull away. We're in a temp of a pull away for these two idiots right here. So that's exactly what's going on. I think we need to be upfront about it. It's not about implementation. It's about them trying to break away and everything because they're scared of private equity. They're scared of the biggest brands leaving them and stuff in football, which is a legit fear. There's seriously, this is legitimate. There could be a breakaway, guys. Like this talk and everything isn't just rumors anymore. These are proposals for Super League formations with private equity. It's a real thing. And the conference commissioners are going to fight back on it. We've said this many times before already. Like they've got so much stuff to lose. If Sankey loses Alabama to private equity, Alabama football to private equity, he's done. His legacy is over. He's a complete failure. He has everything to lose in the world. So of course he's going to fight back and punch back and do whatever, do a secret handshake and everything else with TD. But seriously, this is just proof that you're trying to leave everybody else behind and that you're putting the golden spoon up. You're smugging everybody. I can't take it. It drives me nuts.
Tell us how you really feel.
I would make one correction. They're not called secret handshakes. They're grips. They're grips. Would you pay for your kids to go to BYU?
No, I'm sorry.
There you go. Yeah, fair enough. I want to say that I think they're not completely full of shit, but they did.
What do you mean? Let's pull up the article again and let's read some of the key line statements here.
They said some things very politically, but not entirely unfactually.
We accept the responsibility of leadership. Like,
There
what are you
is a
talking about?
leadership-
What does that
there's a
mean?
leadership
Like,
void. There's your
We're going to
leadership
lead
void.
the move away from the ACC and the Big 12. We would take this responsibility on us of killing those two conferences or trying to kill them. We accept
one-
responsibility for eliminating the Pac-12.
How
For
did
eliminating
this?
the Big 12 with OU and Texas. I
How did
accept
this?
responsibility. So charitable.
How did this round of realignment start? Texas,
Oklahoma and Texas.
OU going to the SEC, and then all the other dominoes start falling. So the SEC doesn't have clean hands. Big Ten doesn't either. So
Big 12 doesn't either.
no, because Big 12. Well, Big 12 just got lucky and just picked up what was left.
They paid Colorado $1 million to move.
I thought it was more than that. I heard it was 3.5.
Okay. Well, regardless, they paid
Yeah.
Colorado to get Colorado to jump first. So
Yeah.
They have a secret handshake too.
yes,
Awesome.
Big
Yes, they
12.
did.
Big 12 knows the grip as well. They know the
Yes.
grip. Nobody's hands are clean.
No,
Not in the ACC. The ACC took blood money from SMU and then did not pay Stanford and Cal what they were worth.
the ACC blew the Big East.
Yeah, and they let Notre Dame call the shots for them. So
Yes, they did.
So let's say everybody's hands are dirty here. Everybody's hands are dirty. We all got bloody hands. We're all sitting around. We all, that Miami Cal game drew huge ratings for the time slot it was on. It was like 1.93 million.
Right.
So the ACC definitely benefited from adding Cal. So it's not like everybody didn't cut, carve,
That's
and
to
feast
be
the
determined.
Pac-12.
That is
We
too-
got to see what that number was in the Bay Area. I bet you it got a lot of viewership elsewhere, because even whenever Cal was great, they didn't have super high viewership. Even Stanford, whenever they had Luck and Harbaugh was coaching, okay numbers, but not great. And a lot of it is that the Bay Area market's just different.
All right. We've got Sergeant Pickles re-upped his membership for 14 months in the Game of Thrones. You win or die.
100%. This is realignment Game of Thrones. We know that. And like in Greg Sankey, he's a guy, he's a jerk. We all know that he's a jerk and everything, but at least he's upfront about it. He's like, I'm not going to dilute my conference by bringing in other schools. Like, he's being real upfront about it and candid about like exactly how he sees it. But Petiti is just like this guy, this like little soft guy, and everything is hanging in the background, won't say anything. You never heard his voice before, and he's making moves. I can't believe this guy's in charge. Petiti, that's the guy that bugs me the most, is Petiti doing. Like, who is this guy, man? How's he so influential and powerful?
He's the Joseph Bonanno of conference commissioners. He just stays silent, goes behind the scenes, does what he needs to do. He's a silent G like lasagna.
I remember Greg Sankey was on Dan Patrick's show probably a couple of years ago, maybe like 2-3 years ago. And the first thing that Dan Patrick asks is like, how many universities call you? He's like, I'll probably get like maybe 4 or 5 calls a day from different university presidents or ADs. Just wanting to say hi and remember me next time that something comes around. Yeah. And he was being honest. He was being blunt. He was not able to name names, because that's, of course, follow-up question.
Like everybody but the Big Ten schools.
Yeah, basically.
Right.
Everybody that has a phone that knows the phone number to the office in Birmingham.
Listen,
Let's just be honest about things here. That's what I'm saying. Like, the whole stuff about, hey, we take responsibility. Like, we're ambassadors for college football. It's the biggest crock of crap, guys. Like, it's just not about that. It's about your conference. It's about your schools. That's your job too. Like, I get it and stuff, but don't feed me a bunch of crap. Just be honest about it. Like, hey, just say, we're looking to take everybody else out because we just care about ourselves.
Well,
we don't care about college football. We're just going to pull away and make as much money as possible. And if private equity tries to pull our best brands and everything, we're going to fight against it tooth and nail because we're in the club. Why can't you just say that? That's just really honest.
Here's something I brought up. Andrew's no longer in. I just texted him. But this is something I brought up to him and another friend of mine. You look at just recruiting battles, and let's go back 30 years ago. I'm going to bring up West Virginia. I'm going to bring up Ohio State. They compete in the same areas, Midwest, Western PA, places like that for their roster. How many recruiting battles, even before NIL, was WVU winning over Ohio State? Maybe 5%. And that was because they could promise the kid that he was going to be able to start second year, because Ohio State's roster, let's say defensive linemen, Ohio State's roster probably had 20 4- and 5-star defensive linemen. Hey, you're a 4-star guy here from Pittsburgh. Come here to Morgantown. We could start you. It's been like that forever. So now to sit there and say money's involved, it's always been involved. Alabama's always had a bigger budget than, let's say, West Virginia. Tennessee's always had a bigger budget than West Virginia. Ohio State's always had a bigger budget than Louisville. It's not changed. It's just the perception of it has. Because now we're looking at the numbers. Now we're seeing the Big Ten and SEC getting 80, 85 million, and we're looking at the ACC and Big 12 getting about half. So the numbers, you now see the numbers. You used to be you didn't pay attention to numbers. You just paid attention to the wins and losses. Now everybody knows the business. That's changed. And we talk a lot more about the business aspect and know a lot more about the business aspect of what's going on with college athletics than what we did 20 years ago. Heck, whenever WVU went to the Big 12, it was a shock to everybody because all the backroom dealings came out. I mean, yes, it stinks, but college athletics been that way for 100 years.
I will just say this. There's a scientific principle called Worthington's Law.
Okay.
And more money than equals more important than. So yes, the SEC and the Big Ten have the most money, the most advertisers, the biggest brands. It makes sense for them to lead the new era of college football going forward. It just does. The fact that they didn't have the Big 12 there, the fact they didn't have the ACC there, probably because the Big 12 and the ACC aren't on similar levels as the Big 10 and the SEC. It's not me saying that to be mean. I'm not saying that to be cruel. I'm not saying that to speak down to anybody, but it just is what it is. There is a golden rule, and Daniel can tell you what that golden rule is. He who has the gold makes the rules.
Makes the rules. I think that.
And it's been that way for college athletics. I could sit there and name 20 programs right off the top of my head. Let's go Oklahoma. Let's go across the state to Oklahoma State. Which one has money and which one doesn't?
Well, since T. Boone Pickens died.
Yeah, well, this is before T. Boone Pickens cut.
Right.
Yeah, $500 million in checks. But let's go to the state of Oregon. Let's go to University of Oregon. I mean, Puddles is sitting on a ton of cash.
Oh yeah.
Beavs have got money, but not Oregon money.
They've got NVIDIA money though. They do have some money at Oregon State if NVIDIA invests in them.
They
Nike
do have
one.
money, but do they have Nike money?
No, they NVIDIA could give them Nike type money, but they won't. But yeah,
Yes.
Nike is all in on Oregon. Trust me, I had to buy an Oregon hat. By the way, if Oregon wins, I bought an Oregon hat and I will wear the Oregon hat. And let me tell you something. I had to find an Oregon hat that was yellow so it would show up on the green screen. $35 for an Oregon hat.
No way.
$35 for an Oregon hat.
I got this one.
Unbelievable.
I got this one for 10 whenever I was back in West Virginia back in August.
Yeah, I got this one for $14.95, and it says Georgia Tech, and that's an organic Georgia Tech. I weaved that
drink.
in there. Everybody drink. By the way, we've got 50 people here in chat. Sound off. Let us know what your thoughts are on it. We'll get to some of those thoughts right now.
Wait, before we get to that and stuff, I
Okay.
was talking with a good friend of mine named Jack. Okay, Jack and I were discussing just the changes in college football, and we were trying to figure out a way to create more equality, right? Especially since the Big Ten and the SEC want to be the leaders, the trustworthy leaders and stuff. So this proposal is actually a really good one. You guys should definitely hear it. Let me show it to you really quick. It's called Project Rudy. Project Rudy. Simone, check it out. Ohio State, for fairness and equality in A4 college football, gets stuck in a division that they could win every single year with Iowa, Iowa State, Minnesota, Nebraska, and Wisconsin. My Utah Utes get a division with BYU, Oregon, Oregon State, Washington, and Washington State. It's geographically centered. We're playing historical rivals, too. And this is the best thing for the whole entire sport. So my Jack, man, I just said, Jack, this is the best idea I've ever heard. What do you call it? And again, it's Project Rudy, something we really need to consider.
All right, now I'm going to get off on a rant here. Project Rudy solely exists to allow Notre Dame to have everything Notre Dame wants with giving up nothing. Every other team and every other school is expected to give up something for Project Rudy, except Notre Dame. Look who Notre Dame's in a conference with: Navy, Boston College, Virginia, Virginia Tech, Maryland. And by the way, they're going to get to protect their rivalries with USC and Stanford. And they get to remain independent and keep all their cut of college football playoff money. Meanwhile, everybody, because the conferences still exist, would still have to distribute them evenly. Wow. What a great idea for Notre Dame. And only for Notre Dame. Yes, this is Notre Dame once again sitting in the pulpit and lecturing us about the evils of current college football. Meanwhile, their solution is give us everything we want and we can fix it. Do you trust Notre Dame to give you everything, to give them everything they want and fix it? They're the entire reason that conference realignment is happening. Had they joined the Big Ten in the 1990s, the Big Ten would be at 12 members and wouldn't have expanded. The Big 12 would probably still exist with the 12 members, including Nebraska, Colorado, Missouri. That would still be a thing. The Pac-12 probably would have picked up Utah and BYU and some other schools to get to 12. The SEC would have picked up another school to get to 12. The ACC, Big East, would have figured that shit out. But all this stuff goes back to Notre Dame and Notre Dame looking out for Notre Dame. The reason this is called Project Rudy is the little guy, Rudy. We're looking out for the little guy. We're looking out for the little guy that we monetize the shit out of in a major motion picture. We monetize Rudy day and night. Remember the house settlement before NIL came along. Imagine how many millions and millions of dollars Notre Dame made on Rudy, on the story of Rudy. How many millions?
Let's say 50.
Hundreds of millions of dollars. Were they looking to help Rudy out? No. We'll just fly Rudy in for an autograph session once every 3 years. And we'll charge people $100 to get their autograph and picture with Rudy. Don't worry, Rudy. You can keep 25 of it.
That's cheap.
Didn't Rudy get a sack, though? Rudy got a sack.
Rudy was offsides.
Mo, you cannot say that.
He was.
You can't say that, Rudy.
He was.
Watch the film. Rudy was offsides. He was lined up in the neutral zone.
That's a legit sack.
Well, it's a sack that got called because he was in the neutral zone. He was offsides. But my point
check
is,
it out. Okay, so check.
This is a Notre Dame only plan. This plan is only to benefit Notre Dame.
So when speaking with Jack, when Jack brought up an actually alteration that no one's heard of yet, right, for this Project Rudy. And it's basically just to pull football away and eliminate conference affiliation and become its own entity of 70 right here. So there's no Big Ten play in football. That can exist in basketball. It can exist the academic alliance and like the caviar club and everything else that you got. That's fine and everything. But football is its own entity, its own organism. and it's going to be its own 70-team league, and we'll call it something else. We can call it the Big SEC if you wish, right? But that's Jack's big idea and stuff, to pull everything away from conferences, just to have a football league of 70 teams that we're all playing each other. There's no conference affiliation for football only. Big Ten's not going away. The SEC is not going away. He made sure to say that multiple times, really. So its own organism, his own entity, and that's how it would work. And the nice thing about that is we can go petition for the federal government to get an antitrust exemption, just like the NFL. And the money that this could bring in is double or triple of anything that's anyone's made. So everyone can make more money. Everyone can make more money. Notre Dame will make more money. Utah will make more money. West Virginia, your team will make more money. Everyone's going to make more money. Everyone's basically, it's like kind of finding that rainbow at the end of the, like the leprechaun finding the rainbow, right? For Rudy, finding that rainbow, the pot of gold and everything. So really, this alteration of Project Rudy was a fantastic idea. I had to tell you guys about it.
Well, let's talk about Ute's friend, Jack, by the way. Jack may or may not have served as the athletic director at Notre Dame for 2 decades and retired after naming his successor an NBC executive, by the way, who also helped them get their last TV deal. Absolutely no form of, favoritism there. But Notre Dame would secure themselves. Part of Project Rudy is the top 8 teams are permanent. They permanently secure themselves at the top. That means Ohio State, Notre Dame, Michigan, Alabama. Those schools will always be the top. They'll always receive the most money. And Notre Dame gets to do that as well, with giving up 0. Meanwhile, they want Ohio State to give up matchups against Indiana, Purdue, Illinois, Penn State. Some of these teams we've played for 100 years, they want us to give up. Why? Notre Dame could join any conference they want right now. They could. If Notre Dame wanted to help the ACC, join the ACC as a full member. Stanford, Cal, SMU would automatically go full members, get full shares. Everybody's money would go up. Why doesn't Notre Dame do that? Because Notre Dame is concerned about Notre Dame. That's it. They're concerned about Notre Dame and standing on their pulpit and saying, for shame at what you guys have done with realignment. For shame that we had to get Stanford and Cal into the ACC because of what you guys did. Taking no responsibility for the fact that Notre Dame has existed on a planet unto themselves for the last 100 years. At any point, they could have joined a conference, and it would have radically changed conference realignment as we know it. There probably would still be a Big 12 that had Nebraska, Texas, Oklahoma, Colorado. There probably would be a Pac-12 that consisted of USC, UCLA, Oregon, and Washington. But no, Notre Dame couldn't do that because Notre Dame is special. And now they want to stand on the pulpit and say, we want to help the little guy. We want to help Rudy. Meanwhile, we're cementing ourselves at the top of the pay structure. We're not going to give up anything. But, by the way, vote for this. No. If you're the Big Ten or the SEC, why would you vote for this? Tell me why.
Okay, yeah. So
give me a reason why.
Jack likes facts. Jack likes facts, and Jack shows facts, and you looks at the facts, and they're undeniable facts, actually. And sometimes some schools just are worth more money because they get more viewership. It's just a fact of life, and we all need to accept that. So Jack's proposal is actually pretty legitimate because Jack actually has a team that he supports and everything. It gets a lot of viewership. In this new world, it seems going to be worth a lot to the media companies too. So that is a worthwhile proposition. And Jack also mentioned this too. It's a bracketing system based on your television viewership and your marketability on how much you get paid out in this new system. So guess what? Hey, if your brand grows and you win a lot of games, you get more eyeballs and you make more. But if no one watches you, no one cares about you, i.e. Purdue Northwestern, then you don't get paid anything. You get paid what you're worth. It's the anti-milking provision. And I absolutely love the idea. Absolutely. You eat what you kill here. You eat what you kill. You eat what you kill. And so no more free milk. No more free milk.
Let's be honest, though. If Jack's brand was that valuable, why isn't his media deal right up there with the Big Ten and SEC? Why not? He couldn't get it there. He could not get it there. He couldn't get there, and instead of accepting that and joining the Big Ten and SEC and making that money for his program, he decided to come up with this wacky Project Rudy, where I'm going to stand up for the little guy. I'm standing up for the little guy. I'm standing up for the little guy. Guess what, people? Regardless of the party, there's no poor people in Congress. They're all rich people. And Jack Swarbrick is a very rich man. Notre Dame is a very rich university from their endowment alone. He is not out for the little people. He is out for Notre Dame. He is out for Jack Swarbrick. He wants Jack Swarbrick's legacy to be, I got Notre Dame everything they wanted, and they get to stay independent. That's Jack Swarbrick. This is a legacy project from Jack Swarbrick that he wants to be the man who allowed Notre Dame to continue the same behaviors that have led us to this conference realignment Michigas we are in now.
Look, the namesake of this episode is the mega powers are SEC and Big Ten set to dominate college football. And Jack's about to take the jackhammer to that idea right here and blow that sucker up via his idea, Project Rudy. And guess what? The Big 12 and the ACC are fully supportive. 100%. And guess what? Jack's on the phone with Ohio State and Bama and Michigan and Penn State and Georgia. And it's just a matter of time before he plucks one of them and starts that domino.
Not now, not ever, you. No. Ohio State will never give up our conference autonomy. We will never give up our conference partners. It will not happen, regardless of private equity. You could pay Ohio State $250 million in media money. Congratulations. We would rather have 125 in media money and continue to play Illinois, Indiana, Purdue, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Penn State, Maryland, Rutgers. We would rather do that.
Who's the weakest link out of all the big boys of college football? If it's not the Big Ten, maybe it's the SEC. There's a weak link somewhere, Moan, in Ohio State. We'll eventually have to capitulate along with this. It might not be Ohio State's at the Lincoln log here. It's not the Jenga piece, possibly, but somebody is.
I don't think you're not going to get Alabama to lead. Maybe LSU put enough money under their nose, but are they big enough to sit there and ruin the whole SEC? Probably not. Tennessee. Tennessee's great brand, but are they the ones to ruin the whole entire SEC? Probably not.
Who in the SEC likes money the most? Texas A&M, LSU, and I think in the future, Oklahoma, because I think they're going to be rolling hard times in the SEC too. So you start going after it. It's strategic. This is the long game, guys. It's not going to happen tomorrow.
If A&M
telling you the Jack's plan.
If A&M left the SEC, I don't think anybody in the SEC will care one bit, because A&M is not the brand, not the big brand in the SEC. They're big, but whenever you think SEC, you think Alabama, you think Georgia, you think Tennessee. Even though Florida's been a mess, you still think Florida. So, yeah, A&M, big brand. A&M doesn't matter if they leave. If they leave right now, you guarantee the SEC could pick up the phone and you would have 20 schools fighting for that spot.
What about Texas and Texas A&M and Oklahoma? Texas is somebody that's disruptive enough to do this.
It wouldn't matter. As long as you've got those core schools, it wouldn't matter. If Texas left, I don't think it would matter. That contract is still going to be great whether Texas is in that conference or not, whether A&M is in that conference or not, or Oklahoma's in that conference, because there's enough big boys in that conference to carry that contract.
Movie Time Blues brings up this chart is not from Project Rudy, it's from the CSFO, which is another terrible idea. But same logic, people. Same logic.
It's the same logic, but good point. Yes,
Your former president was the one that came up with that. OSU's former president.
Let's see.
CFF.
Who is he the current president of?
WVU.
Oh, okay.
Look, okay, you guys. I know we were kind of joking around, having fun with that, but like, hey, from an investor standpoint, from Jack, like that's really what you do. If like you want to disrupt, like you try to pluck somebody and get the ball moving, just like USC going to the Big Ten, ruin the conference. You try to cause disruption. This is how it works and stuff. And there's bad, nefarious stuff that's going to go on. And can you coax a Texas and a Texas A&M or bigger brands to jump over? And maybe you start something and they make double what Ohio State makes, and you can pay more for NIL. They become a bigger deal. Like there's things that can make this thing work, and that's how you do it. Like if you can't get the Big Ten sign on and everything because they love taking pay cuts for playing each other so much and stuff, then just don't go after them. Go after somebody else.
It still kind of worries me, and I still don't know how it will be explained. Public universities, let's say University of Utah. Would Rice-Eccles Field now be collateral in a private equity deal? Huntsman Arena? I mean, we're talking private equity will want something for collateral. They will want something out of this deal. And anytime you hear the word private equity, automatically assume that 20% is going to go off the top.
All right, we got a super chat here from my buddy Kerry Go Knowles. Hope you're feeling well, Kerry. Shoot me a DM. Let me know how you're doing. I met Rudy at a conference in Vegas. He was very cocky, but pretty cool to talk to. Yeah, that's good. He seems like a nice guy. I just don't like the name.
Rudy a lot.
I don't like the name sync of this thing. Thank you for the super chat, by the way. I'll give you. Trying to remember which one he likes.
Let him cook. That's his.
Let him cook. That's right. That's right. Let him cook.
Let him cook. Let him cook now. Let him cook. I said, let him cook.
Once again, Kerry, thank you for that super chat. It's much appreciated, sir. But do send me that DM. I want to touch base with you, see how you're doing.
Thank you, Kerry.
For those who don't know, Kerry's having an issue with some cancer. As a fellow survivor, let me know, Kerry. I want to talk to you about it. We're going to get to some comments here, guys. I've got 44 starred. Unfortunately, if it has to be read, you absolutely want to get it read. Make sure you do it as a super chat. That's one way that guarantees it gets read. Otherwise, we defer to members' comments, and we've got a lot of members in here tonight. And if you're not a member of the College Football Mafia family, you should consider becoming one. You get access to Wild Ute University, members-only streams, lots of cool stuff. You get a little badge next to your name in chat. You get access to emojis like the tinfoil hat. We're going to come up with a Project Rudy emote here soon that has a pile of crap on it. That is definitely in the works. In order to do any of those things, you can scroll right down to the cash section and click Super Chat membership or gift membership. By the way, we've got 5 left to gift this month, so let's go ahead and gift those out, guys. Let's give some people some memberships.
Oh, gosh, I love Rudy. Oh, man.
Sam 8911 SK, Mick Stevens, Adam Antiveros, Hawkin, Rob Ellen. You've all been gifted memberships to the College Football Mafia family. Welcome to the family. You didn't even have to prick a finger or burn a saint, but you are here with us in spirit. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's get to some comments, guys, because we've dominated the conversation. We've had a few rants. We didn't have a rant counter. I could keep ranting, but I won't. About Ute's friend Jack.
Jack's back, baby. Jack is back.
Illini Ted says, we'll share with our colleagues equals we'll tell our colleagues. True. Most definitely. Pre-Pac-12 collapse, I wanted a Rose Challenge Cup where Big Number 1 hosted Pac-12 number 7, Pac-12 number 2 hosted Big Number 8 in the non-conference. If you recall, during the Alliance era, there was actually talk of a scheduling agreement between the Pac-10, Big 10, and ACC. But things didn't work out. USC came to the Big Ten, and you don't turn down free pizza. Free pizza
Even stuff from Steubenville.
Financially driven, and that's what's going to be their downfall.
You don't turn down the stuff from Steubenville. You just feed it to your dog.
Yeah.
Conundrum, you're welcome to dinner, but you'll need an SEC jacket and a Big Ten tie. Fair enough. Illini Ted, my favorite sources, trust me, bro.
just trust me, bro, man. Just trust me. Like, we're going to take care of college football. Just trust me, bro.
Mhm.
Yeah.
David Hopkins says, go get him, you. So there's somebody who agrees with your side of the argument with your friend Jack. He says, you sound a little fired up.
You know what? Yeah, I am a little fired up.
Stanford sold out every game in 2015 when Stanford was rolling with Christian McCaffrey. Yeah, CMC should have won the Heisman Trophy that year. You're never convincing me otherwise. But he was a West Coast player.
That was 9 years ago, so it's been a while.
Yep, you got to get into the East Coast time slots to get a Heisman Trophy. Mullen with the Little Wayne bars. Yes, somebody left that in a comment and said I could use it. As a Big Ten fan, I'm more of a not like us guy. They're not like us. They're not like us. Expedition Greg with the most important chat of the night. Go Buckeyes. Thank you, Greg. Go Bucks. OH.
Nice.
Caleb Ramirez, another Buckeye. Man, we got so many great Buckeyes in chat. Tony Petiti isn't really in charge. He says what the presidents and athletic directors want.
He's a yes man for sure.
That's what he was hired for. Those are the people that employ him. Conundrum, the Wild Ute won't eat his vegetables, so Sankey and Petiti are forced. What's your least favorite vegetable, you?
Oh, gosh, I hate peas, guys. I hate peas so much.
You hate peas? Peas are delicious.
The peas are not good. No.
Good.
2 words: Brussels sprouts.
Yeah, I was going to say Brussels sprouts are the word.
Hey, guys, I've got something really important to share real quick, okay?
Okay,
It's
go ahead.
from the last segment. Rudy was not offsides. Look, the line of scrimmage is right there. It's clear to see Rudy circled right there. I don't see any offsides.
That is a bad angle of it. Rudy was offsides.
Rudy is onside. That's a legitimate sack.
You were looking at a perspective angle. If you look straight down the line of scrimmage, Rudy was offsides. We're going to do a poll in the chat right now.
Okay.
That's Rudy offside. Moan. Give Rudy a sack, my man.
And don't
one sack after all that
nobody
effort.
place their prejudice on Project Rudy on this. I just want to know, was Rudy offsides or was he clean? Let me start that poll.
I got to vote on this sucker, too.
Let's see. Wild Ute, I'm going to make you accept responsibility if Utah doesn't come through on one leg of my 17-team exotic parlay for $1 tonight.
I have no idea the payout for that thing. I could.
Yeah,
It's only $1, but still, damn, 17 teams, you ain't hitting that.
I'll tell you what, guys. If Utah loses tonight, I'm going to melt down. Sorry, I'm not sure I want to. I might do a video. We'll see. But it's.
I'm telling you what, Rockin', I have a better chance of hitting Selena Gomez than you do that parlay. Sergeant Pickles, money doesn't always buy happiness. Just ask Oregon. Nobody will get you to a national title game, Pickles, which you lose to Ohio State.
It also makes misery a lot more enjoyable.
So the boys who meet in Davos annually rule the world. Yep. Absolutely.
Tony Petito is definitely a Davos guy for sure. 100%. This guy doesn't say anything. Nobody knows anything about this guy.
Your friend Jack is too.
Jack doesn't like him at all. I can tell Jack does not like Tony Petiti at all.
Remember the guy in Godfather or Goodfellas where he said, more than 12 words a day, and he didn't move unless he had to, but he ran things. That was him. He was Big Paulie. He just nodded. Ryan Willie says on Wisconsin, they got a tough matchup against Rutgers, but we'll see if they can build on that one against Purdue. I've got Wisconsin in one of my parlays on Wisconsin. Laura Weiss says cheers. I don't know who she's saying cheers to, but thank you, Laura Weiss.
Cheers.
Might be talking about your hat.
There you go. Georgia Tech.
Yeah,
That's
that Georgia
organic.
Tech hat. It's nice.
Marcus Williams, my clean-shaven friend from Michigan. I'm all for the Big and SEC breaking away, to be honest. Teams not in the Power 2 need to figure a way out and get into the Big and the SEC.
Rough.
Jimmy Otson, I assume he's a Duck fan. It's because of this or a league like this gets set up, Notre Dame will be one of the top 10 20-making teams. No, Project Rudy has them cemented as one of the top 8 money-making teams. And
Which makes sense because they're one of the top 8 brands, Moan.
They can
Notre
never
Dame's
move
the
down.
top 5 brand in college football.
They can never move down, no matter how bad Notre Dame is. They will
Wait a
never
second.
move down.
Top 8. I'm going to go right off the top of my head with brands I think that are more valuable. Michigan.
The Notre Dame? Okay.
Yeah, then Notre Dame. Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State, Alabama.
No, not
No.
Penn State. I don't think Penn State. Sorry.
You don't think Penn State?
Go ahead.
Alabama, Southern Cal, Florida, Georgia, Oregon. I see O stickers on the back of every car here in California. Right there. That's 9.
I think
go ahead, Mo.
Notre Dame is one of the top 8. I'm not going to argue that. Notre Dame is one of the top 8. But cementing your status while having other people move up and down looks bad.
That looks pretty good if you're cemented.
Yeah,
What are
it
you
looks good if
squawking
you're
about? You'll be cemented
but-
too.
But this
I don't
is
get how
not-
you're squawking
Notre Dame-
about this at all.
Notre Dame is standing up for the little guy. Why wouldn't they be willing to pull back if they have a couple bad seasons?
We all know. So Jack's pretty honest about this kind of stuff. You know, he's like, hey, we're looking out for Notre Dame, but guess what? We're looking out for the Big 12 too. The Big 12, we're actually in alignment with this. And that's weird because usually Notre Dame and Big 12 aren't aligned on anything, but within this directive, 100% aligned.
Jack is using the Big 12, and Barzini, it was Barzini all along. Lee says Penn State AD already said he's totally against private equity. Antoine Codes, an Arizona State fan, says Project Rudy is trash.
Agree.
Bob Swanger says you wouldn't like this idea if Utah was in the Power 2.
You're 100% right. If Utah's in like the Power 2, then I'm going to absolutely just put what Marcus said. Like, hey, we're going to pull away from you guys. Peace. Yeah, I'm not hypocritical. I'm just telling you straight up.
If anything,
Like being in the
you're-
Big 12,
is
not
honest.
being in the Power 2, I stand by this position. And I'm going like I am 100% biased. And we need to fight. Daniel, we need to fight this. Whatever narrative you need, we need to fight this.
Yeah.
I see the SEC. This is from Movie Time Blues. I see the SEC and Big Ten cutting Notre Dame in the final format, while the mid 2 stay where they are.
Hey, the M2, that's not very nice. Movie Time Blues.
Ryan Willie says, "Well, you're just bitter because Utah isn't in the Big Ten."
Look, I didn't. Before USC got stolen away, I could care less about Big Ten. I loved being in the Pac-12. Honestly, that was fantastic. Utah was in bliss, but then you stole our wife away.
All right, we
So-
did not steal. If somebody shows up to your house with free pizza, it's free pizza. You lost your pizza. That is not my fault that they showed up at our door with the free pizza. I'm eating the pizza. It's
Look,
delicious pizza too,
Mr.
by the way.
Davos guy, Tony Petiti.
It's delicious pizza.
His money.
USC
swayed.
and UCLA is like triple meat lovers pizza, hand tossed crust with garlic on the crust, and an order of breadsticks. And somebody comes to your door and they say, "Here, would you like this free pizza?" And you go, "Well, it's free pizza, but I don't know. I guess I should let SEC just keep Oklahoma and Texas and not try and better my conference. please take the pizza away. Now, be honest, would you take the pizza?
Is the cheese
If the
cooked?
roles were reversed and Ohio State and Michigan said, we're coming to the Pac-12, would you say no?
Is it double cheese?
It's just as well as USC and UCLA. You're getting double cheese on it. There's cheese in the crust. There's extra provolone and fresh mozzarella.
Here's the thing: is the pizza's not in front of the door, and it probably ain't coming. So it's a moot point.
I'm just saying, we're doing a hypothetical. The pizza shows up at your door. Do you say no?
No comment.
Okay. He's not going to answer the pizza question. You will not answer the tough questions about pizza, ladies and gentlemen.
Jack doesn't like the way that you've
Jack
this
doesn't like
conversation.
pizza. Yeah, this was a dumb proposal, says Marcus Williams. I can't believe this. I'm siding with a Michigan guy. Hence the name Project Rudy. I love a good Moen rant. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Replica says Moen is right on this one. Thank you. I used to not care about Notre Dame, but now I want them to grovel for even a crumb. You are fully a member of the Big Ten now, Sergeant Pickles. Congratulations.
It's the heart's desire of the Big Ten.
Power Yellow will look good on you, Mo, and yeah, we'll see. I might not get the hat till Tuesday. I had to order it from Florida. Unfortunately, they were the only place that had it in stock, so I don't know if there's going to be any Milton delays. So it's looking like Tuesday it will be delivered, but I will wear it on the Big 12 Mafia. I'll wear it all next week. If Ohio State loses, I'll wear it all next week. I'm a man of my word. Cougar says, I'd rather have Notre Dame have everything than Petita and Sankey screwing everyone.
Let's go. Exactly. Right?
And then Lee says, I agree, Mo, and this is absolutely a disaster idea.
Why don't we talk to some Big 12 folks? We know the Big 10 folks don't like
We
this.
did talk to Antoine Coates was against Project
Antoine,
Rudy.
how are you against this idea? This is
Because
fantastic
he's
for Arizona State.
handsome,
I don't like the
intelligent
idea.
man. That's why.
You don't like making more money? I don't
It's-
understand it.
It's not guaranteed money if you're going to bring in private equity guys into public universities, they're going to take something in collateral. Let's say that this deal falls apart. What do they get in the end? There's a
Media
risk.
rights.
There's a risk and a reward. And there's a big risk, and who knows if the reward will work. And that's what these public universities are going to look at, because they're going to have to put something up. Yeah, maybe put up media rights, but let's say that things fall apart, and guess what? They're not getting paid media rights for X amount of time. So if they're going to do it there's easier ways to do it than get a private equity firm involved.
All right. Conundrum says you can be a Rudy too.
Line
Or
up both
Rudy
sides.
Poo, according to The Rock. Boise belongs in the list over at least 5 others. You're going to find that on every list that comes out. There's somebody who is more deserving to be on that list, and somebody's getting left off. Conundrum, Rudy, and Minnesota were both offsides. Well, that reminds me. Let's look at the poll here. It's in the poll, and 62% believe Rudy was offsides. 38% believe it was a clean play. Go ahead and show you that bad picture that was from a weird angle that showed he was not offsides. If you watch the play down the line of scrimmage, he was
Find a better
offsides.
picture. That one, it's a little hard to see for sure.
Sergeant Pickles warns Rock and Rant, don't make me say Florida International over Miami. Whoops. Already got that one. Conundrum says Big Shit Conference. There you go. I like that name. Conundrum says Swarbrick and Bavacqua Law Firm. There you go. And then our firm Conundrum Replica has been a member for 9 months. CFB stands with Ohio State. Oregon has no shared heritage. Let's see. That is a hot take.
Oh, hot, 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 hot.
Thank you again for your continued membership, Replica. It is much appreciated, sir. We are very happy to have you as a member of the College Football Mafia family. I'm going to go ahead and get to some more comments, start starring them, and we're going to start having some conversations here. While I'm going through and doing that, you can again defend Project Rudy, and I will be
Pulling
ready.
up Rudy. I'll show you he's not offsides.
Rudy was offsides. This is widely agreed in the college football era. He was only, they felt bad for him. The refs felt bad for him. What can I say? They got in the refs' ear. They paid him a little money. They felt bad for him.
Look, Rudy was onside for one, and Jack supports this proposal. And I'll tell you guys, it really is for the best of college football. Like, it's not, in all reality and stuff, it's not for the best for Big Ten and SEC, but it's best for the entire college football landscape. It
Or
really
Group
is.
of Five or FCS.
Or Group of Five or the FCS. It's best for Big 12 and ACC.
But
Yeah,
are
Big
you
12
going,
and ACC.
are you
And-
going to get the 34 members that are in the Big Ten and SEC to agree to this?
No.
Like what you were saying, you might be able to pluck one, but I don't think that you're going to be able to get a domino to start. Like
All
you
it
might
takes
be,
is one, though, Daniel.
Yeah,
Like you,
but like I said, say that you could get a Texas, say that you can get, let's say an A&M. I don't think it's going to hurt. Now, you know that it's not going to happen with Ohio State. You know, it's not. I mean, Penn State came out and said no private equity. Michigan doesn't need private equity. Michigan's sitting on so much cash that they don't know what to do. So why would they need to bring somebody from the outside? I mean, if they need money instead of private equity, they could do a bond measure, get it off of a municipal bond rate, which is a lot cheaper, and save the money and save the headache of bringing a private firm in.
So we're talking about different magnitudes of money. So if you were going to go for a bond issuance for like a stadium or something, there would have to be a legitimate reason for it, not just because you're trying to make more money for your athletic department to pay your students, your student athletes, your pro athletes more. So I think private equity solves that problem and everything, because you're not having to go through the government and getting improper funding for something like NIL. And so I think that going through private equity makes that a lot cleaner too. And plus private equity, the opportunity for growth is way, way higher. Like,
Yeah, but
what
private
private
equity,
equity can do with the sport is grow it 3 or 4 times what it is
But-
now.
but private equity will want to have a say so on what you're spending that money on. So let's say that, let's say you've got $5 million and you have blank that you're going to sign, and you've got 4 guys, you're going to even it out at $1.25 million. Private equity might say, hey, this is our chart, this is what the guys are worth. NFL's been trying to do that for years with slots in the cap, like a linebacker should be paid this. The thing is, right now, there is no cap with NCAA athletics. Nobody knows what these guys are really worth. Could a quarterback, like one guy, say, oh, this quarterback's only worth $500,000? Well, guess what? He's going to find somebody that's going to pay him $1 million. And that's what's going to happen if you bring private equity into a university. They'll want to have say-so in how you spend that money.
They'll want to have say-so, 100%. And why shouldn't they? This is the least efficient organization on planet Earth. Why do we trust Patiti and Sankey to run anything? They're running the sport into the ground. Like this absolute. It's a big ball of crap right now, and everybody knows it. It's so inefficient. So why are we so apprehensive to let some professionals actually run this thing that know how to make money? That makes sense.
Yeah,
Sports, pro sports lets it happen. The NFL does. The NBA does. Why can't college football? Like, it's hubris. That's what it is.
Petiti and Sankey are doing what the member universities want them to do. They want Sankey to get as much money as they can for those universities. The AD at Alabama wants paid. The AD at Georgia wants paid. The AD at Ohio State wants maximum value. So you're getting what the market will bear for the conferences at maximum value.
It's true. What the conferences can bear separately, but what's not considered is as a whole, it's worth 5 times as much. And that's exactly what private equity is saying. It's like, you guys, by having your little kingdoms, your Big Ten kingdom and the SEC kingdom, and making your own media deals rather than combining all your rights together, you're leaving a bunch of money on the table. And that's where the inefficiency is.
Well, let's look at this. How many... After next year, there will only be 2 independent FBS football teams, UConn and Notre Dame. So why doesn't Michigan and Ohio State say, hey, we're going to go independent and we're going to sign our own media agreements? Because it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work out well, I should say. UConn left the AAC thinking that they were going to get a lot better deal with their football contract. And they make pennies with it now because it's just not that valuable. Yeah. What is Ohio State's value without playing Michigan? Because let's say that they go independent and Michigan says, fine, we don't want to play you. Or let's say Georgia says, we can make double what we're making now in the SEC being independent with our own contract.
All right, guys, we got about 10 minutes left in the show here. I've got a bunch of comments started here.
Okay.
Anything you absolutely positively need to have read will have to be a super chat. Otherwise, we will not be able to get to it tonight. I just want to put this up. I found this on Twitter. This is actual footage from the meeting they had in the Big Ten regarding Project Rudy. So I'm going to go ahead and put this up here. This is regarding Mr. Adams is promoting Project Rudy here.
I will not vote for independence, Mr. Adams. Not now, not ever!
There you go.
Oh, man.
That's exclusive.
That's YouTube for sure.
Of CFB Mafia Network. If anybody wants to see that, you can show them this stream. The Big Ten and Tony Petiti will not agree to Project Rudy. Not now. Not ever. Stormy Cyclone says, Moen speaks the truth. Real life Rudy is a jerk, thinking he, like Notre Dame, is God's gift to sports. And he was offsides.
Oh, man. Rudy.
Laura Weiss, a Texas Tech Red Raider and a beloved member. I am with you with the vegetable choice. She does not like green peas. Green peas and butter are fantastic, y'all.
Canned green peas, man. Oof.
I can't send any super. You get them frozen. You get frozen peas. They're better. I can't send any super chat for a few. That's fine, Ryan Willie. We love you anyway.
Yeah, man,
buddy.
we just love having you here.
We love having you here on Wisconsin. Good luck against Rutgers. Lee, I hope you didn't pick Maryland as part of that 17-team parlay. You got to let me know if you hit that.
Well, that was rock, right? We got to see the games on that.
Yeah, if you hit that 17-team parlay, you better be gifting some memberships to the channel, Rockin' Ray. I'm just saying. Northwestern is up 7, Terrapin 0 in Maryland. Oh, yeah. I think we actually mentioned that earlier in the show. Sergeant Pickles, Oregon is a PR firm, not a football fan base. No, there's some Oregon fans. They're assholes, but they're fans. Laura Weiss says Ohio State, Michigan, Texas, USC, Alabama, Georgia would be your top 6.
I'd have Notre Dame in there too.
Movie Time loses. If Domers had a choice, they'd elevate Navy to top 8. Probably, if it ensured that they played them every year. Probably. Conundrum says Project Rudy equals scheme, says Sankey.
Anything that comes out of Sankey's mouth is going to be completely biased against Project Rudy because it's his destruction. So anything he says.
Bob Swinger says, I love your honesty.
It is what it is. There's
if
no.
Utah was in the Big
upgrading.
10, if Utah was in the Big 10, F Rudy. Sergeant Pickle says Mullen's still trying to pretend the dude in the adult film was actually trying to deliver the pizza. Yeah, I watch it waiting for them to eat the pizza, and I don't know. It never happens. I'm beginning to wonder if there was a pizza in that box at all, guys.
There's definitely no pizza in the box.
Kerry Godnall says throw in some extra cheese. There you go. If you're
Have you ever heard Petiti speak? Honestly, though, Petiti, have you ever heard him talk?
He doesn't
like, really ever.
The press conference.
The press conference. He's your leader.
He doesn't need to talk though. He's
apparently
G.
my leader too of college football. He's our leader, Mr. Petiti.
Throw in some extra cheese. If you're ordering from Donato's, guys, get the fresh mozzarella and the Asiago cheese on that pizza. It's fantastic. OPD Don. Oh, that means the Godfather says no to the extra cheese. He doesn't put meat on cheeseburgers, so I don't know if he puts meat on his pizza. He's probably a hypocrite in that way. Greg probably does. Conundrum says USC equals sausage pizza, UCLA equals anchovies pizza. Anchovies pizza is fine. You can just pick the anchovies off, guys. Marcus Williams, one thing a Michigan and Ohio State fan can agree on is not hurting our conference members. That's true. We love you, Northwestern. Antoine Code says, I hated ASU in the Pac-12 because Dr. Crow was happy being mediocre. It's probably coincidence, but the change to the Big 12 is getting CKD the resources he needs to succeed. Marcus Williams, I actually want Utah and Florida State, Notre Dame, and Miami in the Big 12 U, or in the Big 10, excuse me, Big 12 U. Sorry about that.
I would say it's very unlikely. So I'm really developing these deep ties with Jack.
Him and his friend Jack can go off. David Hopkins, gotta love, great show, guys. Gotta leave, great show, guys. Thank you for stopping by, David Hopkins. It is much appreciated, brother. We always love seeing you here in the College Football Mafia chat room. Sergeant Pickle, it's not good for anyone. It just happens to be less bad for the Utes.
Look, for the Utes, Project Rudy is fantastic. There's just no downsides for him. Serious, guys, and that should be applicable for KU. I think, I know Daniel, you disagree with that, but I would have thought that West Virginia would be in the same boat because you can actually control your own destiny by getting promoted into a different financial tier than you are. Basically, kind of feels doomed to be in. Versus if you're looking at, I look at a lot of viewership numbers. Big 10 and SEC games are getting 3 times the viewership. These contracts that we're seeing, if these structures remain, are going to remain. They're going to make 3 times more always in the Big 12. And to make a competitive program, at least you've got the possibility, if you're really good for a couple of years, of getting promoted and making more and competing for a championship. That's how I see it.
They've always been making 3 times more. They've always
they have not media money though. We're talking just strictly media dollars.
Yeah, but they were always making. I mean, even before the big explosion in media money, I mean, they were still Penn State's stadium is double the size of the stadium at WV. Just a fact of life. Same thing with Michigan's. So yes, they're going to make more money.
I will say this though, in West Virginia's defense, way more fun to party in Morgantown than party in Happy Valley.
I got to do that.
Another super chat from our friend Mark Bowman. Mark Bowman, you're killing it tonight.
Thank
Do
you,
you think this $22 million amount for student athletes pay will be in effect for 25-26 Billable hours remain undefeated. We've hit the first step, but there's going to be a lot more lawyering going on here. And you're probably going to add even more lawyers, which will make this thing drag out for another 18 months at least till we get to the next step. I'm thinking 26 is the year. I'm not thinking 25.
Yeah, I think you're right about that, Moen. I would say 26 too for the same exact reasons. I think your nails.
All right, let's give him a little sounder here. We haven't done this one in a while.
They've been sucking you, sucking you, and sucking you. They've been sucking you, sucking you, and sucking you. And they've been sucking you, sucking you, and sucking you. And you're sick of it. I get it. And they've been sucking you, sucking you, and sucking you. And they've been sucking you, sucking you, and sucking you. And they've been sucking you, sucking you, and sucking you. And you're sick of it. I get it.
Thank you once
That's the
again.
Adjusted Project Rudy right there. That's for the Adjusted Project Rudy. That's Jack's idea.
There you go.
Like,
That's the theme
get
song.
rid of all that milk suckers.
That's a theme song for Project Rudy. Jack Swarbrick, see me about the rights to that, and I will license that to you. Mark Bowman, once again, thank you for your continued generosity to the channel. You were awesome, my dude. Go Hawkeyes. Although I think I did pick Michigan in my picked Washington in my parlay. So I apologize. But that's probably a good thing for you. Because if I pick it in a parlay, it'll lose. Marcus Williams says, I don't believe in socialism. The big and SEC are titans of the industry. He is a fan of Ayn Rand. So there you go. The Fountainhead.
Marcus, I would ask you and I would invite you as a Michigan fan to look very close in your own conference and then challenge your statement right there. Because that's the ultimate socialism going on, is you funding the same amount to Northwestern and Purdue. And everybody else, Indiana and all these other schools, are making as much to Michigan in media rights. That is exactly what you're saying. Just look at it real close.
Marcus Williams says, can a private equity firm have a financial stake in public institutions?
Yeah, this is a great question right here. And this one, you can't actually, for like a nonprofit type institution like a university, you can't actually have ownership in it because nobody technically owns it for a nonprofit. It's for for-profit companies, you can have ownership stake. So what would actually have to happen is the university's athletic department would actually have to form another business that owns the rights to that, the media rights to the football program for that individual university. And then that entity would sell them off to private equity. I know that's confusing and everything, but like you'd have to go through a couple steps to get there in order for private equity to own a portion of your media rights. You can't just buy a piece of the university.
We got a super chat for our friend Antoine Codes. Before this year, ASU had a cap on tailgating hours. I will let you know this, Antoine. There will be an Ohio State bus and at least a couple RVs in Autzen tomorrow. They have made the trip from Columbus. They are on their way. So if you want some good food and you're in Oregon, you're in Eugene, go ahead and swing by one of those tents and let them throw it at you. Thank you for the super chat, Antoine. It is much appreciated. My Sun Devil brother, I hope you are feeling well. Thank you for everything you've done for the channel. You're an awesome dude. We appreciate you. Let's get back to some other chats here. I'm just going to kind of scroll through here, guys, and try and get.
We've got just a few more minutes.
Just a few more minutes. I got to cut it before 2 hours. That way we can do the shorts on it. That damn duck is expensive. I'll just say F that duck. I won't go all the way tonight. Northwestern is up 14-0 on Maryland. There you go. I said it would be a terrible game, and Northwestern is beating Maryland. I think I called that earlier, too. Take Northwestern over Maryland on the money line. Greg Pfluger is in the house. The Godfather.
Greg's in the house.
No meat and cheese together on pizza. Fat guy from Minnesota, not a hypocrite. You don't have pepperoni on your pizza, Greg. Come on. Come on.
Thanks for stopping by, Greg. I know
Thanks
you disagree with
by.
a lot of the Project Rudy as well, just like everybody else, seemingly.
I'm more offended that he doesn't put pepperoni on his pizza. Beginning to think he's a communist sleeper agent or something. Adamantaberos, a member, says, thank you for the gift. I am sorry I have not been able to join you guys live for health reasons. I have been unable to do so, but I really appreciate it. When I fully recover, I promise to pay it forward. just worry about getting yourself healthy, Adam. That's what we
100%.
want. Feel better, dude. And if there's anything we can do, let us know. And then Devil Frog says, Greg Fluger, how does it feel to be wrong? Yes.
Greg Lugar. See that?
Yeah. OPD Don says the USC pizza is veggie.
Yeah.
You're probably
It's
right.
so
If it's got
veggie,
California
Opie.
pizza.
Oh my
If
gosh.
it's a
it's so
California
veggie.
pizza, we'll see. Lee says Maryland is terrible. Conundrum gives us an update. It is now 17-0
Shoot.
Northwestern. 17-0 Northwestern now. And Maryland has 30 total yards. Jeez. I don't want to play a game on Big Ten Friday night, y'all. I don't know what it is. Favorites on Big Ten Friday night just don't do very well. Rockin' Rant says it turned out to be a 15-leg parlay because they wouldn't accept 17, and the payout is $9,632. If you hit that Rockin' Rant, you were expected to gift at least 50 memberships to the College Football Mafia family. That's just the way it is. We're going to wrap up here. What's your one for the road, as Sergeant Pickles would say?
Absolutely. Like, hey, it's a privilege talking with Jack and everything about the idea of Project Rudy. I think it's really innovative. I really like the idea, and I think that some folks should consider it a little bit more for the good of A4 college football. But in all seriousness, go Utes tonight. Big time football game, about an hour and a half away. ASU Utah. Whoever loses this game, really, it's almost like a Big 12 eliminator, quasi. You can't eat more than 2 conference losses. Maybe 2 won't even get you in. So it's a must-win game for both teams. Cam Rising's going to be back. I think the Utes are going to be juiced. And again, I'll stick on that. I think Utes win by 17 plus if Rising plays.
All right, Daniel Gygax, what's your one for the road?
West Virginia will win by 2 touchdowns tomorrow.
There you go. And for my one for the road, I want to thank everybody for the donations, super chats, memberships tonight. You're all awesome. Mark Bowman, Sergeant Pickles, the college football, that was us. Replica, Mark Bowman, and Antoine Codes, Carrigo Knowles. Thank you. You were so special to me. I love you. God bless you. Go Buckeyes. Beat Oregon. And with that, peace out.